I have another sneak peek for you of the 2019-2020 catalog. So I'm going to show you a couple of different things. The first one I'm going to show you is a photopolymer punch bundle. I'm just going to show you the card. I did not design it. It is called Above the Clouds. It's a hot air balloon. Super, super cute. And it comes with this little punch that's a hot air balloon as well. And it has a little basket and then a little banner. So let's go back to the punch. And the reason I'm going to show it to you, the stamp set, the reason I'm going to show it to you twice is because my girlfriend designed a card that we made at our marathon. We got it the day before, made 14 cards for a bunch of demonstrators the next day, stamp event. And so while we were stamping, she came up with this. Because when we did our unboxing, you may have seen our unboxing, and you know, if you get this out, and there were 4 of us at the unboxing, and only 1 of us had been to on stage. So the others of us had not. So when you take it out of the box, it appears that it might be a vase. Doesn't it look like it might be a vase? And then a little tiny flower pot. So that was the first way we had kind of seen it. So we did not use the stamp set the night that Susan designed the card to go with it. So here's the card that she made. And isn't that totally lovely? So there you see, here's the hot air balloon right here. And then here's the little basket. So we have a large face and then a little terracotta pot. And then she used the paper that is from the stamp set that I'm actually going to use on the card that I'm going to show you now, that I designed, called Free as a Bird. It's a super cute little set and so much fun to color. If you like to color, this is the definite must-have. Super, super cute. So we were not designing at the same time. Well, at the same time, but not in the same. My office was a hot mess, and we were kind of going at it all over the place. So here's the lovely, beautiful paper that comes as part of with the Free as the Bird. So here's one piece, and here's the flip side of that. And I love this piece, the feathers, which would be super cute with our Dreamcatcher set, but that's on the last chance list. Sometimes they overlap each other. This is some bird cages. And then here's the piece of flowers that she used on her card, and we just fussy cut those out to go in the top of the hot air balloon vase. And then we popped the hot air balloon out of the flip side. I may have already done that one. It's popped out of the flip side of one of them. And this has keys on it, tiny little itty bitty keys. And there's keys embellishments, which are going to end up on the card that I'm making. Here's some cute birds. And then I love this piece here. I can't wait to get this on some cards. And this would go with a ton of different cards. And then this really pretty piece here. And then this side that has like little bird tracks. Okay, and so then when we went to cut paper, we realized that we had both used this piece of paper. So this is literally all that I have left of the 2 12x12 sheets. Just enough. And it's actually, it's a smidgen small for the card that I'm going to make you, but it'll work. I think it'll work. I didn't even check to see if it's the right size. It will work. It's a smidgen small, but it'll work. So, you know, we had all this brand new stuff to pick from, and that's how beautiful this piece of paper is that we both thought we needed to use it. So this is Above the Clouds. I'm not going to do a demo with that. We don't even have a card. We didn't use those stamps that night. But it'll be a super cute bundle, and maybe I'll get something around with that soon. I have so many things to do. Let me aim my camera down so I can show you the card that I'm going to make now. Am I in frame? Maybe a little too much. Okay, so this card is super fast. I have Pool Party, which is a nice basic, it's been around forever color. And then I have Pool Party Ink. Actually, let me do this first, because I also have Memento, because I'm going to color with my blend. This will give this a second to dry. So I'm going to stamp the main image on some shimmer white cardstock, because shimmer white's my favorite of the basic colors. So stamp this on shimmer white. These are cling red rubber. I'll let that dry just a second. And then I have the words that say, "The world needs more of you." And I'm going to stick those on the inside. So just have those in there. That's all we need for the black. And then we'll go back to the pool party because it doesn't need as much time to dry. So pop this open. And then this is just the little, it's like a little dogwood, I think. And it just matches the paper. So I'm going to stick one of these right here over the top just to give that a little bit of pretty on the inside. And then I'm just going to do these around. You're going to make sure you go off the edge and kind of twist them so they're not all exactly the same direction. Just fill your background up. And I'm not quite sure where my paper is going to land, and since this is easy to do and doesn't take long, I'll just put those everywhere. I know the bottom's going to show. And yes, I have been stamping on my table. I've had people ask. But my table is an old work table. You may have heard me say it before, especially this time of year when it's getting more and more stamping on it. And my husband paints it for me every summer. So it's about ready to have a fresh coat of paint. That may make it into this video since my face was in it. So some of these smudges, you know, I just wipe it off and then we repaint it. So this is one of the new dies, and I don't remember what they're called. I don't have my catalog yet, and it's kind of a pain to look up all this stuff online. So if you are a customer and you need a catalog from me, you can just go join my email on my website, or you can message me on YouTube as well. But they're nesting, maybe nesting hexagons? I don't know. I don't have a paper catalog, but there are new ones, and they don't hurt. Our old ones were kind of, the old dies kind of hurt yourself. These don't hurt, but they come nested, and I'm not even sure how many. Every time I need to go put some of these back, it's kind of a pain because I didn't go to On Stage, so I don't have a catalog. But they're double stitched, so I'll show you what I mean by that. On this one, I'm only going to be able to use the stitching on the inside of my pattern, but eventually I will do a card that has the double stitching. So it's just a fun new shape. We haven't had anything that's necessarily stitched like this. You can see that ends of mine are going off the edge, but because I'm just going to use the inside stitching, I just need the inside of mine. So when you cut your cardstock and you just use the inside stitching, especially because this is shimmer white, you don't need to waste cardstock. So it would just, unless you were gonna save the outer frame and use it, but let me show you what I mean. So you take that off. And because these are not so pokey, it also doesn't stick. You know, our stitched rectangles, you had to like poke those out of there. So here's the stitching this way. And then on the outside, it also left a stitch. So you could use this for an outside frame and you could pop that up and you could have that piece there. But I want to use that beautiful bird paper that apparently Susan and I both thought was the bomb. Since we both used it, there was all that other beautiful bird paper to pick from, and we both chose the same. I had a piece of scrap paper. Here it is. Covered it up with my Big Shot stuff. Okay, so now we're going to color this with blends. So we'll start with the limb. I'm going to start with your light color first, and I only use my nubby ends. I don't use my brush ends hardly ever if I'm actually blending. So just pull some light color through. The shimmer cardstock does really well with the blends. I'm going to pop that back on and then take your dark one, and these are bronze and light crumb cake, or dark crumb cake, I think. Didn't turn it all the way over. So just where the little accent lines are on the branch, I added just a dot of the bronze. And then just draw this back over so it kind of smudges those in. This is not like the world's most giant pattern or super big where you need a whole lot of blending, just enough for some shadows. Then we'll move on to our little dogwoods, and I'm trying to mimic this pattern. So you can see they're white in Pool Party. So I'm going to start with the dark, my little nibby, and they've got their color in the center. So I'm just going to do dark and just hit the centers with my dark. I'm going to take my light. And if you use the brush tip, literally they would all be colored in. And again, I don't want to do the whole thing. I just want to kind of brush over the top and kind of smear that around. Because the flowers on here are white, so I'm trying to give it the same kind of look. So it matches. And then I think these are olive. Yep, dark and light old olive, which is the color of these. And again, start with your dark. Because when they're tiny and you don't have a lot of space to do your blending, then start with your dark, so when you go with your second color, you can't actually blend. So I'm just going to hit, again, the center of these with just a smudge of my dark old olive. Did I get them all? You know, you would think that it wouldn't be any harder to color upside down than it is to color right side up, but it gets you. And then just take these and blend them around. Which then left me when I was designing this card, and you know, I had a room full of people, which most of the time when you design, you know, you're by yourself. So I had a room full of people and we were left. So I have one color left, and it's pink. So I asked the girls if there were pink birds, and you know, my husband is from Australia, and I lived in Australia for quite some time. The greater part of my 20s, and they said, aren't there pink birds in Australia? And I know there's pink cockatoos. There's probably pink cockatiels. I don't know if there's little pink round birds, but in the stamping world, there can be whatever you want them to be. So in the interest of making it match my card, we do have some pink little birds. There probably are pink little birds. We just weren't sure. So to match my paper, we have the dark petal pink, which is the color of the paper. And then just to add a little bit of highlight, I pulled in the Flirty Flamingo. And then I'm going to use the color lifter to kind of get it out. So I'm going to start with the Flirty Flamingo, because again, it's the darker of the colors. And I'm just going to hit these places where it's got the highlight colors. And you don't need a ton of it. And I'm also going to get his beak, because I didn't really want any orange in it. Because again, I didn't want colors that weren't in the paper, but it just needed a little bit more highlight color than what my two petal pinks would give me, because they're kind of light. Okay, now go to your dark petal pink. Kind of smudge this around. You can leave most of the center kind of empty. And they don't all have to match, because of course all little birds look a little different. And then the light petal pink. And again, if you used your brush tip, these are just so tiny, there wouldn't be very much room for blending. This is where you can kind of smear it around. And you can see I've almost totally lost the flamingo. It just gives a little bit more of a highlight where those lines were. And then I did take my flamingo one more time and just kind of dot it one more time, just so it has a little bit of some darker color that kind of pops the birds out up off the back of the... I thought about doing, you know, some blue around so they were on sky, but I really wanted the blue paper to speak for itself. And then if you take your color lifter, you can go around and kind of blend it one more time. Especially if you pulled too much into the middle and you don't have white centers. It just kind of lightens them up a little bit. So then we're just going to mount this together. And the reason that you use paper behind you is because it bleeds through. So we're going to mount this one here. Did I show you the back of the card? When I saw a piece of this afterwards, like a little strip of it, I assumed that this came from our new nautical set, because to me that looks like it was the nautical paper. And then when I flipped it over, I was like, oh, that's from our birds. You know, there's always a learning curve. And that's a little big because, like I said, this was not the exact same size paper that we used on the actual cards. It was the last little piece that I had to make work. So just turn that down. Then there's some really pretty ribbon. And I do believe this is part of the collection. It's very vanilla and it is called Scalloped Lace. If you have seen my videos on how to dye the ribbon, I think this could be dyed. So the first time I put it on here. And then I showed it to my girlfriend and I said, it still needs something. And they said it needs ribbon. And I'm like, well, it has ribbon on it. So apparently it needs more ribbon, but I still like it up here. But we're gonna add ribbon twice. So this just gives a really sweet little feminine touch to the top. And the scallops are designed so they go perfectly across the card. So you don't end mid-scallop, which is nice. And then you're just gonna tie a bow. Just a regular old bow, nothing floofy, nothing tulle where, you know, you have to do one of my fancy things, just a bow. You don't need it giant, you don't need it just a bow like if you were tying just a bow on your shoes. Just like that. And we're just going to stick this here. Just there. And then we're going to take some glue dots to attach the bow. So this makes it more obvious that there's a bow on it. And one side's longer than the other, so I'll fix that in a second. And I'm going to take one more glue dot now that I have it where I want it to be to make sure that it holds. And then one more thing that comes with this suite, which is so cute, are bird ballad trinkets. And there are keys and leaves and flowers and bows. So I will put a closer up picture on my website, so go over there to have a closer up picture. The flowers are used up because that's what I used on my card, and you know, when we had a whole bunch of people come and use them, different shapes get used. So let's see, let's do a key. So when you do these, like the flower that I used, and I do have that card, so I will show you. Sometimes they come with these the hooks, you know, where you can pull your ribbon through, and I could have pulled my ribbon through, but that would take a while, and sometimes I'm lazy. The bow is designed more like the flower, where I just put the glue dot on it, and then I just glue dotted it to the top, which I could do that. Actually, I kind of like this one. So let's do that one because it'll show up in my pictures better. So when you take your glue dot to attach it to your thing, your card, put your glue dot on the back of the little circle that's intended for you to draw your string through, and then just jam it up under there. So you don't have to see it and you don't have to use it to pull ribbon through. But it does give you a nice little place to add your glue. Here's the other one. And these birds are a little bit pinker, it looks like, but there's the other embellishment. So there you go. Super cute set. It's really fun. They're birds that are artistic looking, but not super real. They look real enough. Sometimes the real birds kind of creep me out a little bit. Not gonna lie. We've had some birds in the past that, oh, you know, they're just a little, I would like to do them maybe under my new display glass thing, but these are fun. These are fun, happy little birds. They'd make great shower or Mother's Day or birthday or, you know, new home, all kinds of fun things, friends. But It's a sweet little set, and the embellishments and the ribbon and the paper, it's all just a ton of fun. My grandma liked dogwood, so that's probably why I think of Mother's Day when I think of that. So I hope you enjoy this new suite, and I hope you enjoy this slew of videos that I have had for you of all of the new stuff. Have a great day. Bye.